Hello, and welcome to our first week of fall in our Perfection in 1 Year series. We're going to go a little bit out of order today when it comes to the daily, weekly, and monthly projections, but we'll get to all of them in a second. So today we have to buy all of our seeds for all of our fall crops. We have to do a new special order, a new key quest, a lot of smelting, and we have a harvest over at Ginger Island, and we have to do a ginger grind, which we'll talk about in a little bit here. And we're going to buy some recipes and craft a few things. So I just wanted to get that out of the way before we move into our weekly goals, which are a little more broad and kind of similar, but planting all our fall crops, all of our pumpkins, special order and key again, working towards the ginger I had mentioned, farming ore pretty much all the time, making kegs and hitting all of our birthdays. So you can kind of see right now, but it's a little bit cut off, but I had to accept the 100 ginger from Ginger Island quest this week, which normally I wouldn't recommend ever doing, but in this particular instance, it was the best option out of the two. And basically I need to harvest ginger from Ginger Island for like every day for this month. And it's one of my least favorite like little tasks, but anyway, we'll move on to what we are up to for all of fall and what our goals are. And the main things are maxing friendship out, and the little asterisk there is because we're not going to worry about the winter birthday people. We're just going to get everybody but those folks. We want to do all of our walnuts, finish all of the monster eradication goals, max out our farmers level across the board, ship as many items as we can, ideally 100%, cook all the recipes we can before we get the winter recipes, and then we want to be operating with somewhere around 300 kegs. Ideally we would be at 300 kegs right now, but we are not even close to that, so that's definitely something we have to slowly work towards and hopefully make happen. I think at this point I've kind of decided to start making jars as well, because we need money pretty fast, and so jarring items, even though you get a little bit less money for it, may prove to be a little bit more valuable because we just don't have what we need to make kegs. So we're kind of shifting the strategy again a little bit. And the ore farming I mentioned is mostly going to be radioactive ore that we're farming. Not so much like regular ore, I guess. And we'll get into that pretty soon here. Once we get into Mr. Key's room here, where we get our new quest. And the quest this week is Danger in the Deep, which is the one we really need because that unlocks our ability to radioactive ore farm, I guess, to make up for money that we couldn't get via farming. And with radioactive ore farming, which is, I mean, it's not that interesting. It's kind of one of the more boring things you can do, but you can make a solid, like, I don't know, 200,000 to 300,000 gold a day if you do it pretty casually, and anywhere up to like 1 million probably if you do it pretty intensively. So we'll be doing it more casually. We're not going to be using a slingshot most days. We're just going to reset floor 1 of the dangerous mines over and over and over again. So actually, like, a pretty good chunk of this week, because we got that quest, will be taken up by going to the dangerous mines, forcing our way down, and then farming the ore. We should hopefully be able to finish our ore grind. I don't know, maybe not our ore grind, sorry. We should be able to finish our descent within just 2 or 3 days. Should be just 2, but it just depends on luck. If we have bad luck, it'll take a while to go down, so. And I mean, we have neutral today, which isn't terrible, so we might still try for it. The only other things we have to do today are harvest all of our wheat. We got to plant all the pumpkins, hit Penny's birthday just to get her knocked out, and then we'll descend the dangerous mines. And as we go, we'll get some radioactive ore. We'll smelt a bar or two and sell one ore just to knock out the percentage. And I messed up. And I know like last week I said I was going to have like a breakdown of the percentage every week. I didn't do that this week. And I forgot to like screenshot it. So I'll just have like a general percentage upgrade. Like I know what my percentage was at the end of this week, but I don't know all the specifics. So I mean, we'll get to that when I get there, but it won't be as detailed this week as it was last week, which is probably fine. Only on some weeks I'll have a much more drastic increase in percentage. This is not one of those weeks. And I'll be able to tell like specifically what that percentage jump is just by the amount it is. That's confusing. I phrased it very poorly, but I'll talk about it better later on. And yeah, so for now we're just kind of forcing our way down. I spent the time killing those skulls just because they drop some of the bone artifacts. And I believe I'm still missing 1 or 2 of the bone artifacts for the museum. So anytime I come across those skull enemies, I will probably kill them just for the chance that it drops. I think it's the scapula I'm missing. I could be mistaken, but I think that was the case. Like I know I'm not 100% on the museum, but that's something I probably won't even mess with until wintertime, because I've already unlocked the key to the sewers, obviously, and all the rewards I really care about. I don't really need the star drop until pretty close to the end, so we'll get there eventually. But yeah, this is most days I just go down. Pretty uneventful, and there'll be shorter days because of it, but some of the days are a little more complicated, so the timing works out to be about, a 40-minute episode as normal. Oh, and this is also if you're watching this when it's new, this is going up on a Tuesday. And I'm going to try and do it Tuesday and Thursday and take Sundays off. So that's why my video uploads have been kind of off schedule a little bit lately, but they'll be all right. So yeah, I'll also be cooking. Okay. At the end of this week, I do a bunch of cooking, and it's the worst. I do it in the worst way possible, so just be prepared for a disorganized mess of cooking. And then we finally have almost all of our oak trees ready. They're taking up some pretty valuable space on our farm, but I think we'll just leave them for now. We're going to keep going down today in the mines, and we're going to put up more kegs since we have more resin. We'll do a couple gifts, not too drastic. And then we'll sell... Oh, I guess we're going to sell that ore and bar today instead of yesterday. So it's not really a big deal, but it gets us a little bit closer to that all items shipped percentage. And when it comes to the perfection tracker, there's a couple things that don't track until you've completed them. And the shipping one is not one of them. When you ship items, it increases your percentage with each item you ship. Same with cooking. But things like monster eradication goals, those don't count until you get the full 10%. Or the full thing. The full, every goal done. And then you get 10%. So, those are the days you'll see a massive jump up. Or, the golden clock, obviously. Which also is only called the gold clock. It's not called golden, which I don't really like. But that counts for the 10% or whatever. And it only counts once you've built it. So like that will obviously be a very big jump up. I'm not sure if the obelisks are the same, because we'll build the obelisks. Oh, I don't know, like probably within this month. At least the island one. The island one is kind of top priority, just so we don't have to worry about making the totems anymore. Basically this whole time, like anytime you see me use an island totem, it's been when I crafted, and it's really expensive to craft. It costs ginger and dragon teeth, and those two things are things we really need right now. Ginger obviously we need because of that special order quest that we took. And I kind of wish I didn't take it, but like the other option was the fishing quest, and I'm pretty sure the tropical fishing quest doesn't reward anything. And I know for a fact that the tropical harvest quest does reward a recipe for the solar panel, so it was the only thing I could take. I know with like the island harvest, you have I think it's just 3 different roles of what you can get. You can either ask you to harvest ginger or pineapples or taro roots. And so in this case I got what I consider the worst one, but all it really means is I'm going to have to try to go to the island every single day on the days that okay, so here's how I'll do it. My resets, like on my scouting days, I'll go to Ginger Island, and if there's more than, let's say, 7 or 8 ginger on the island, on those days, I'll go to Ginger Island to grab the ginger at the end of the day. Otherwise, I won't go to Ginger Island, so it's not likely that I'll include all the ginger in the footage, just because it's kind of boring. It's just me like hoeing ginger up. And there's one thing I wanted to ask to see if anybody knew, but on Ginger Island, so like when you hoe the ginger up, is it worth it to pickaxe the hoed spots? Oh, I got an owl. Because does that like give you more chances for ginger to spawn? Or can ginger spawn on already hoed tiles? I'm not sure how that works, but anyway, we made a heavy tapper. I don't know if you noticed that, but we knocked that out for the crafting recipes, and we also really need them, so we're going to start making those even though they're very expensive. We're also going to deforest a bit today, or a lot today, so we can make some more kegs. And this is going to be our pretty full gift run today. And then for the remainder of the day, we're going to hit the bottom of the mines and farm radioactive ore for the remainder of the day. And what that also means is that, like, because we're hitting the bottom today, the mines will reset tomorrow, and they'll be standard mines again. So tomorrow we'll have to go to the mines to reactivate dangerous mines. And there's really like, the way to probably do it is to finish dangerous mines on Sunday, because no matter what on Monday, the dangerous mines would revert back to normal. But I don't know, I had like a small amount of time to kill today, and so it was like what I had decided to be the best route. And we're only going to be able to really do radioactive ore farming on best luck days, just to kind of get our radioactive ore spawn rate up. So I wasn't super worried about like losing a full day of ore farming. But I mean, the radioactive bars are worth 4,500 a piece. So if you can get 50 ore or 10 bars, that's 45,000 gold. And you can do that pretty fast. So if I can average like, 200 a day, I'm looking at nearly $200,000 just from mining radioactive ore. And it has some downfalls. Like, for example, I don't get any iron while I mine the radioactive ore, so it won't help me in the, crafting kegs sense, which I really, really need to be able to do. But I did some math somewhere. Maybe I can find it, where basically like each day of farming radioactive ore is worth a certain amount of kegs, right? Let me see if I can find it real quick as I'm doing this. I could just pause it, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to scroll through a text document. And so, yeah, okay, so I basically get 250k to 300k per run. So that means one solid run for the radioactive ore is the equivalent of about 100 starfruit wine. So that's 100 kegs for 1 week. So like, if I can get 4 good days, well, I don't know, this math is it's kind of funky math, right? Because kegs are passive. But that's kind of how I've been trying to think about this, like, how am I going to make up for the money that's already been lost? Because I should have like an extra million at this point, right? And I don't know if that's valuable. The point is, 1 day of radioactive ore farming is worth about 100 starfruit wine. So I guess that, if anything, that shows how valuable starfruit wine is. And how, man, I am so behind on kegs. I should have had 330 by the first of fall. So money is looking challenging. And yeah, so here's a little preview of what it looks like when I farm radioactive ore. And again, just as a reminder, I'm playing on a controller. That's why I have to move to access the ladder. It's much more efficient if you play on a mouse and keyboard, because you can just click and you don't move. And so you can get a lot more money, but I like to be comfortable when I play, so I use the controller. So that's all there is to it. And as you can see, this is boring. This takes forever. It's just resetting. And I skipped out. I deleted like a chunk of footage there because, what is the phrase I'm looking for? I faded. So you don't have to watch all of it, but that's what I'm going to be doing for like a whole day in the future. And it's very time consuming. It's like very real life time consuming. Like a day of actual radioactive ore farming, I think it takes like 35 minutes instead of like a normal like 17-minute Stardew day or whatever it is. So yeah, that's what I'm in for my good luck days from now on. The rule I kind of made for myself is, on best luck days, I will do radioactive ore farming. On pyramid luck days, I'll do skull caverns. And everything else will be errand days. And that way I didn't like spend too much time. Man, I only have 76 wine. That's not good. I got some problems. And we need so much money. We need like 13 million still. So I don't know. We'll see how this like all works out. I'm a little bit pessimistic now. Like it used to be like cautious optimism to realism, and now it's graduated into pessimism. So we'll see. Anyway, it's our 5th day. More kegs. We're doing all of our other gifts today, and also little quests that we have left over, like the mail quests and bulletin board stuff. It's Elliot's birthday, so we should be able to finish him. We're going to toggle our mines. We're going to get artful in the hammer. We forgot our ring, so we can't actually do the ring thing. And we'll do a little bit of cooking and shipping today, like I had mentioned previously. We don't do a lot of cooking. We mostly just do some of the easy stuff to like clear fridge and chest space. And yeah, the rest of the day is mostly just giving out gifts and I don't know, just normal errands, you know? Like we have Robin's axe to turn in. We have 10 hardwood. Oh, you know what? We also did this. We bought some ducks. And I do not remember why. I think we bought them for shipping. I think we bought it to ship a duck feather and a duck egg, as well as duck mayonnaise. I think we buy some more later on too, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, so we'll also look at our friendship in probably a minute or two, just to see where we're at, just so you have like an idea of like where our hearts are and where, I don't know, like where we stand, right? It's kind of important to know where we are with that kind of stuff, to know what we're going to do next. And I know our summer goal was to get 9 people maxed out, and we didn't quite meet that. I think we were only at 5. But I think this time around, we should be quite a bit higher than that. Because we had a lot of people that were like almost there. Like there's George is just finished. Abigail's not done. But yeah, we have like a ton of like random stuff to give these people. I think Robin should be done today. Maybe not. I guess we'll find out. But we did complete her 2 quests at least. And I still have not upgraded the house. I know I need to, and I still remember that, but I have already played, like as of the last recording, I had already played up to the first of winter. So any advice given during like these videos, I cannot react to it. I have already done what I've done. But I guess that being said, as of today, July 11th, I have not played winter yet, so any ideas you might have or any advice, I can follow starting in the wintertime. And so here we're going to look at our friendship really quick. So, man, we still go so fast. Even though this is slowed down. This is like literally 50% speed, and it's so fast. But this is an idea of like where we're sitting with all of our friendships. And it looks a lot better. We haven't really knocked out too many more people. We are actually like only at 7, but we have a ton of people that are at like 9 hearts or 7 hearts, and pretty much like just about ready to tick over. So we should see a pretty big jump in friendship either in this video or on Thursday. And yeah, hopefully we can knock out that Monster Slayer goal pretty soon. I really hope we can. It's an easy one, but it'll just be nice to see that number jump up. Because we're already like pretty far along. I think our slimes are a little bit behind. I haven't actually looked in a really long time. And what's annoying, and this is something I'm mad at myself about, I don't have like any footage of me checking stats. Because I do all that stuff on days I don't record, right? Or when I scout. Like on my scouting days, I'll do like whatever I need to do, like on my reset days, I guess I should say. And then I'll go to the Adventurers Guild and see where I'm at so I can plan out my day. But since I don't record my scouting days, I just don't have any footage of me like checking that information, so I need to get in a better habit of doing that. It's a little too late for that. 9 weeks in, but you know, so be it. And okay, so Ginger Island, the reason we went today was to combine our rings, a lucky ring and a burglar ring, but we forgot the ring. And we also wanted to get Artful on our Galaxy Hammer, which will allow us to use our charge attack more often. And then we also wanted to get Ginger, because today was like a decent Ginger day. as well as a couple recipes with key gems. They're not recipes I'll really use, aside from magic bait, which I'll actually use quite a bit. But I needed to get it, so that's what I'm here for. Magic bait we'll use a lot for fishing, but that'll probably be either in late fall or early winter when we do a lot of fishing. I can't remember how much fishing I've done by the end of fall. And then yeah, here's our greenhouse is like a mess. We at least have all our trees, and we have banana trees and stuff, but like, I don't know, we just have random junk in here. Not enough starfruit. And then the rest of the stuff we're planting is mostly for cooking and shipping. Some of it is just the only seeds we had, so. Oh, but here's a glimpse into like my terrible method of cooking stuff, right? Instead of like going down, okay, first thing, don't make sashimi ever until it's your last item, because it will just pull a fish from your inventory, and just don't do it. I didn't do it, luckily, but I've done it enough times to know. And I always forget like where it pulls from, so half the time I feel like it just pulls randomly, even though I know it's not true. But anyway, I'm just like filling my inventory, going over here, seeing what I can cook and what I haven't cooked yet, and cooking it. I mean, it's an effective, I guess, but it's just like not very organized. And so like, yeah, you can see like this is not a good way to do this, but you know, whatever. Frees up some chest space. And I trash everything except for the tortilla because I need it. Like there's some stuff I am actually thinking about, but a lot of it is very like, you know, just don't do it like this. There's just such a better way. And yeah, I think I do this the entire time I cook. And so I kept it in here just so you can see like I did in fact cook all these items. It just like, I just did it in the worst way. So yeah, watch me like thumb through menus forever. I think this is why I don't really stream that much. Because it's kind of boring watching this kind of stuff, in my opinion. I know some people don't mind. But there's only like so much to talk about as you do it. I mean, maybe that's why streaming would be better. Because maybe it'd be like more fun to interact with people while I do the boring stuff. And then I shipped a ton of random stuff. It's all just like, you know, random vegetables. These are extra stuff I was like hoarding for cooking. And then, you know, iridium bars, radioactive bars, all kinds of junk. And so with that money, today we'll have to buy some more starfruit seeds. But other than that, our day is pretty simple. Just smelting, hoeing for ginger, gifting, and we're building a fish pond. And most of the time today will be spent farming radioactive ore. That's why I say it's simple, even though we have like a big list of stuff. Yeah, most of our day will be in the mines, just resetting the floor. And then once Robin gets to her counter, we'll build the fish pond. And as you know, I'm building a fish pond because we need to sell roe, aged roe, and caviar, which is just aged sturgeon roe, in order to get our completion. So this was just a good day to do it. We do have good luck today, so it might have been more valuable to like just hit the mines all day long, but there's just so many chores that we have to do still that like, you know, we might as well do them. And so yeah, here's the rest of my day. Or not the rest of my day, but the rest of like, what is it going to be, the next 3 hours probably? And then we'll hit Robin's, and then we'll head right back to the mines. Fish ponds, I really don't like using fish ponds. I think they're kind of a waste of space for the most part. And I know if you guys watch Algorithm, he has a ton of fish ponds. And that's specifically for a pretty gnarly goal of like 1,000 of every item, essentially. But other than that, like, I don't know, I never use them in the game except for... Oh, I accidentally sold my coal. That's annoying. I don't use them except for this, just to check off a box. They just don't seem that fruitful. Some of the fish can offer, like, occasional decent gifts. Like, sometimes you can get, you know, a rainbow trout will give you a prismatic shard. I couldn't think of the word. And, you know, a couple other things will give you, like, magic rock candy or whatever, but it's not worth it to bank on those small chances. Magic rock candy might not even be an option. But anyway, we're just gonna do this. We'll do this until about, I don't know, probably midnight or something. Maybe a little bit earlier, depending on what we decided to knock out. We might go to Gus to like buy salads and coffee and stuff. But after this, we will... Oh, you know what? I guess we were using the slingshot. So we ended up getting, what, 226 ore? That's pretty good. But this was a particularly fruitful day on Ginger Island for Ginger. So that's why we called it quits early. I just can't risk the same mistake I made before where I failed to do a quest. I can't make that same mistake again. So even though it would have made us a lot of money to get more radioactive ore, I really need this ginger. And most of the time when I buy it, I'll ship it right away. Just so I don't accidentally use it for totems or whatever it is. And, you know, hopefully, like, so you see me right there, I'm like picking or untilling those spots. Because for some reason in my mind, it makes sense that ginger would not spawn on a tilled space. And that could be totally wrong, I just don't know. But yeah, see, there's tons of ginger today. It was definitely worth it to go back. And luckily we have all month for that particular key quest. Or, not key quest, but the other one. And this, oh, I made a typo. Day 6, it's not day 6, it's day 7 of fall. And it's another big gift day. We'll probably knock out a ton of friendship today, just because it's a reset of the week. We're going to get some more chickens and ducks. And at the volcano, we know for a fact that our last 2 barrel nuts will spawn. And I'll talk about that in a second. And we're going to get more starfruit seeds, actually combine our rings, and we'll go over that percentage just a little bit. And so the way the barrels work is the same way the crates work in the mines and the... well, I guess it's the same word, right? The crates in the volcano, the skull caverns, and the mines all work the same. Every tile inside of a floor can spawn a certain item. So if a crate happens to spawn on that tile and you break it, it will always give you that item. Like a better example, like let's say on floor 1, the space to the right of the ladder, it will always give you, let's just say, a lucky ring on this particular day. A crate will not always spawn there, but if it does, it is guaranteed to drop that item. Hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, today there are 2 spots that were guaranteed to drop golden walnuts, and a crate spawned on both of them. And so that means that this will be the last time we have to go into the volcano. And so, yeah, long explanation for a pretty simple idea, I guess. I'm just not very good at explaining it or articulating it. And yeah, so the rest of the day is gifting. This will bump a lot of people up in our friendship. And it should get rid of like a pretty fair chunk of our gifting route. So our route is just ever shrinking. Ideally, we'll knock out like, Pierre's house. We'll knock out the old people's house and Caroline's house and Haley's house. That way we just never have to go to those particular houses again. But I think for now we still have to like slowly go inside those houses just for like one person. So, and then Leo is still like lagging behind, but that's expected. And all we can do with him is just gift him. We can eventually open the movie theater and take him to the movies if we really, really need to. But I don't think we'll actually get to that point. Yeah, so there's our first walnut. And then we get our second one. Ooh, sorry, I yawned. And a couple more floors. And so in this case, like, I didn't scout through and check all these crates on my own. I used like Blade's predictor, and I just looked and saw where it would drop what I needed. It would be not worth it for me to like play this whole day and have to reset. That would be really rough. So yeah, I think like sometimes I think my reset counter is a little bit misleading because it shows like a lot of resets, but sometimes those resets are like 10 seconds. Sometimes those resets are 20 minutes, but most of the time they're like 5 minutes or 8 minutes or something pretty short. So, our percentage. I guess we should touch on that real quick. We were previously at 27.7% of perfection, and we are now at 32.9. And the only reason I know that number is because I have it written down. And there's no like calculation in game you can do without trackers and things like that. But almost all of that percentage is derived entirely from the hearts earned with the villagers and some items that we cooked, as you saw me do. Jeez, I cannot talk. And items that we shipped. So there were no massive strides today, only about 5%. And yeah, I didn't make a little fancy infograph for it because it's just a number changing. And I think next week, unfortunately, is the same because I don't plan out very well. I just kind of wing it, which you can probably tell. Like, obviously, I don't use a script. I just kind of talk as I do these. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's probably a different energy, so I don't know. Anyway, you can subscribe if you want to. I think I'm almost at like 2,000, which for me is kind of cool. If not, that's cool too. I don't really care. I'll see you Thursday.